whoever you are, and whether or not you're competing against yourself or seemingly against other people, you need to keep in mind that you give power not only to who you blame, but also who you think about. Because the worst thing to do in a competitive exam is to think about the other people's papers. That is literally the worst thing you can do in a competitive exam. The worst thing you can do in a marathon is think about what the other person is doing while you're doing it. Because the only thing that really matters, like on a spiritual, on a rational, logical level, is probably what you do. What you yourself do in order to make things better, in order to guarantee a good result, and in order to make you and the rest of the people you care about happy. Whatever that other person does is irrelevant. That's why comparing yourself, even thinking about another person, whilst also thinking about yourself, or just thinking about that other person, has no clear purpose. It has no clear purpose when it comes to like helping you, and it might even be detrimental when it comes to actually enhancing your mood. If you think about other people more than you think about yourself, you're giving them more power. You're giving less power to yourself. It's quite obvious. Because the more you engage with yourself, that's where the energy comes from. It doesn't come from a tonic drink, it doesn't come from a pill or a food or whatever. It comes from what your mind, what your philosophy on yourself is. And if your own philosophy is actually being harmed by your philosophy on another person, then of course your philosophy won't, if it's distracted by another person, by your philosophy on another person, of course it's not going to get the chance to grow. It's not going to get the chance to even to flourish, right? Like grow, and need I mention flourish? The way you win things, competitions with yourself or with others, seemingly, because ultimately everything is a competition with the ego, with yourself, is thinking about yourself, thinking about why you are doing this, thinking about you and comparing you to the earlier version of yourself. Only comparing yourself to yourself, not yourself to who someone else is today, like Jordan Peterson says. The most important thing to keep in mind, whatever you're trying to do, is that other people are kind of irrelevant. Not only their opinions, but their actions as well. Do you really think you're relevant to another person's life besides your family's or friend's life? No. If another person thinks about you, they're not going to get any advantage. Why should you get an advantage? You're only going to get an advantage if you just think about yourself. Think about why you're doing something, how you're doing something. If you could improve in that thing, if you have improved in that thing in comparison to how you were doing it earlier. That's the only thing that is in your control. Whether or not you're better than someone else, worse than someone else, or whatever someone else is doing is irrational. It's a completely irrational way of focusing on things. Focus on what you can control, and most of the time, that is going to be yourself. I'll see you later.